Hello everyone, welcome to this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinox Television, live from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. I am Babla Jonathan. In our top stories in this edition of the news, the National Gendarmerie is stepping up the fight against insecurity in Cameroon's political capital, Yaoundé. The gendarme officers have arrested 5 suspected bandits and investigations are on the way to track down the 6th member of the gang, and the nation pays a tribute to the former Bar Council President Bernard Mouna, and Bernard Mouna's mortal remains were removed today in the nation's political capital Yaoundé ahead of burial tomorrow. And out of the country, the International Criminal Court slams a 30-year jail sentence on a former military leader in the Democratic Republic of Congo, while another former African leader, notably an official of Rwanda, is being tried and is facing a life sentence over genocide charges in Belgium. Stay with us. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on this edition of the news on Equinox Television. Insecurity remains a major problem from the north to the south, east to the west of the Republic of Cameroon. Insecurity has been on the rise in the major cities and more particularly in the 2 Anglophone regions of the Republic of Cameroon as a result of the deepening Anglophone crisis. And I told you in the headlines, the National Gendarmerie is stepping up the fight against insecurity in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé. Gendarme officers have arrested 5 suspected bandits, and investigations are on the way to track down the last member of the gang of 6. Smanjikan Gebre has more.
There were 5 in numbers that were presented by the gendarmes in the Legion Office of Yaoundé. The 5 alleged bandits, according to the colonel in charge of the investigation, were those who attacked a transport vehicle on the Yaoundé-Bafoussam highway.
Informés de cela par nos hommes, nous avons envoyé une équipe sur le terrain.
Informed by our men, we sent a team to the field to get enough evidence relating to the attack. It is as a result of the evidence in our hand that we arrested these 4 who took part in the attack. The 5th person was the one who had the gun.
Les 2 que nous avons pris par la suite, c'est notamment celui qui a promis dans le cadre de la préparation apporter une arme, et le deuxième c'est celui qui a fourni l'arme.
According to the security forces, they have already located the zone where the 6th bandit is hiding and he will soon be arrested. The transport bus was attacked in the night of 25th, breaking 26th of October 2019. We loaded at the park, and when we arrived at the speed breaks in Obala, he woke up, moved towards the driver and surrendered him on gunpoint while he asked me to lie down straight.
Et puis ils m'ont demandé de me coucher au couloir de la voiture. Ils sont allés à une distance, je ne sais pas.
The security officers further added that the bandits are operating in 2 groups, one operating in the neighborhoods of Mfundi and Lekie, and the other in Mbam. In a search that was done at the home of one of the gang members, machetes, pliers, mobile phone, cartridges, and a Dane gun were discovered. Investigations are ongoing, for it seems there was a possible agreement between the driver and the bandit.
L'enquête n'est pas close parce que nous allons continuer de manière à pouvoir établir s'il y a un lien entre le chauffeur et ses malfrats.
The Minister of Transport, in the wake of this attack, had withdrawn.
Now to the far north region of the country, where pupils and students in many schools in that part of Cameroon continue studying in difficult and even precarious conditions, many of them sitting on the floor in order to learn in their classrooms. Most of the classrooms poorly constructed with makeshift material, and the students and pupils are often exposed to risk and of course risk of natural happenings that could be very devastating, and not many of the schools are now depending on men and women of goodwill to improve on the learning and teaching conditions. Details with ÉQUINOXE.
Education officials in the Mayo-Chanaga division of the far north region of Cameroon estimate that 63% of school-going children sit on the ground to study amid other deplorable conditions due to lack of didactic materials. Most schools in this division lack not only benches but also tables and school manuals to ease teaching for tremendous results.
Quand les enfants travaillent même à même le sol, ils ont des difficultés avec les écritures. Ils n'arrivent pas bien à formuler les phrases, les mots, tout ça.
Ça présente une situation pathétique.
To better the teaching and learning conditions, teachers and learners like those in Soulede subdivision have been relieved with the provision of benches, tables, school manuals and other didactic materials by the Soulede Development Community based in Belgium.
6% seulement des élèves à l'extrême nord sont scolarisés. Depuis plus de 20 ans, Monsieur le Président.
A gesture applauded by the beneficiaries.
Que Dieu le bénisse et infiniment merci. On ne sait comment dire merci. La joie que vous avez vécue ici de ces jeunes enfants.
13 educational establishments each received 25 tables and benches, textbooks, pens, chalk and other materials were handed to assist the future leaders.
Ça va davantage faciliter le travail des enseignants, comme je l'ai dit tantôt.
On peut dire qu'il y a beaucoup de choses encore à revoir.
The education family, parents and school children, including the divisional officer of Soulede subdivision, while appreciating this gesture, wish for more of such support from benefactors and most especially the Bias government, which they say seems to be sleeping and snoring.
And another group of persons who are facing difficulties, enormous difficulties every day, is concerns refugees from the Central African Republic and other neighboring countries. And many of the refugees, hundreds of thousands of them who are living in Cameroon, are facing several challenges on daily basis, and this is why the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees has put in place a project to help facilitate access to loans in microfinance institutions by refugees in Cameroon. Hermine Luga reports.
Penambo Angalo Koviko is a refugee from the Central African Republic who has been in Cameroon for a couple of years today. Just like other refugees, full integration has never been easy. With the handwork, he has received a loan via the help of the United Nations Humanitarian Commission for Refugees, which has recently signed a convention with a local microfinance in a bid to help refugees be autonomous in Cameroon. A fruitful baby project which today leaves such beneficiaries make ends meet irrespective of daily challenges. Being an esthetician, he states that challenges faced turn around the slow business pace, and this as a result of the crisis in the country, handicapping activities. These and more challenges also faced by Homala Fiek Siver, a refugee still from the Central African Republic who assembles locally made charcoal pots for a livelihood. The refugee explains that their needs turns around the work tools such as shoes and also a better site to make their activity visible. As it's now, There are a few refugees of this sort who have received the cash push from the United Nations Humanitarian Commission for Refugees with foundational goals to financially empower them.
We started this project at the beginning of this year, and we have noticed we have many groups that have refugee groups that have been constituted and they have been legalized and they have received funding. And we have also been able to train some other refugees through this project. But there are still some challenges which we have to overcome. So at the end of this year, we'll have an evaluation with all the partners and with the refugees.
Cameroon having its doors opened to refugees with the United Nations Humanitarian Commission for Refugees, we would note the welfare of these displaced persons is also ensured by Plan Cameroon.
A strike action by lecturers of the University of Bamenda in the crisis-hit northwest region of the Republic of Cameroon, initially scheduled for today, has been suspended. This comes after the governor of the northwest region, Adolphe Lafrique, visited the institution today and held talks with the lecturers and their trade union leaders. The lecturers plan to protest against continuous abduction and attacks on lecturers, on their colleagues, notably within the context of the deepening Anglophone crisis. A correspondent in the Northwest region, Stella Mbu, files in details.
Thursday, November 7, 2019, an attempt is made at assassinating Dr. Mbifi Richard, lecturer and director of the Administrative Affairs at the University of Bamenda. This attempt comes about 24 hours after celebrations to mark President Paul Biya's 37 years in power. As the Anglophone crisis drags on, the rate of kidnaps for ransom are on the rise as lecturers, students and auxiliary staff of the university have been kidnapped and some ransoms paid, while others like Professor Mbufong Paul Kubang, lecturer in the Department of English and former administrative assistant, who was assassinated by unidentified gunmen in October 2018. This and more are the reason members of the Yuba chapter of the National Union of Teachers of Higher Education announced a strike action to decry what they termed unchecked crescendo of security threats and financial impoverishment. This Friday, a strike action in front of the Vice-Chancellor's Chancellery is called off, thanks to the prompt intervention of the Northwest Governor, Adolphe Lafrique, who had a closed-door meeting with representatives of the Yuba chapter of the National Union of Teachers of Higher Education. Security measures in the days ahead will be stepped up, a source told this reporter. The transport fare from Bambili to Bamenda City Chemist Roundabout has been increased from 500 to 700 and at times 800 francs CFA, a student tells this reporter off camera. Drivers along this stretch of road say the numerous checkpoints are to their advantage as security is assured, but they have to pay at least 1,000 francs CFA at some of the control posts. Therefore, they have to increase the fare so they can take home some francs and take care of their families. At the time of press, Bambili is experiencing some calm.
And National Union, the Union of Employers in the Republic of Cameroon, JICAM, is enhancing efforts to settle disputes between business persons and enterprises in the country, and this is why the union's Center for Arbitration has been upgraded to a Center of Mediation, and that center will handle disputes between business persons and enterprises in the Republic of Cameroon. This to prevent the business persons and enterprises to find themselves in court for matters that could have been settled at the center. And yesterday that center was inaugurated in the presence of officials of the Central African Economic and Monetary Community, CEMAC, and the center of course is here in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. And we're going to have greater details of that information in this extract of Marie-Andre Ngwe. She is the president of the CEMAC Permanent Committee. Take a listen.
The arbitration center manage only arbitration case, now it will be possible to manage mediation case. The advantages are confidentiality, celerity, and low cost.
That was the permanent president of the CEMAC committee speaking there on the upgrading of the Center for Arbitration of the Cameroon Employers Union to the Center for Mediation that will handle disputes between business persons and enterprises in the Republic of Cameroon. Now, out of Cameroon, the International Criminal Court has slammed a 30-year jail term on a former Congolese military leader, Bosco Ntaganda, and the verdict was handed down yesterday. Courtesy Euronews.
Mr. Ntaganda, please rise. For rape of civilians as a crime against humanity and as a war crime, 28 years. For murder and attempted murder as a crime against humanity and as a war crime, 30 years. For persecution as a crime against humanity, 30 years of imprisonment. Mr. Ntaganda, in the particular circumstances of this case, as a result of the highest individual sentence and the statutorily mandated maximum specified term of imprisonment for the joint sentence being the same, no further discretion is given to the Chamber in the determination of the overall joint sentence. The overall sentence imposed on you shall therefore be 30 years of imprisonment. You may sit down now.
And a 71-year-old former Rwandan official is being tried on genocide charges in Belgium. Fabien Naretse could be sentenced to life imprisonment. Details with Euronews.
Fabien Naretse arriving at Brussels' highest criminal court. The 71-year-old is on trial for his alleged role in the Rwandan genocide.
No.
He denies all involvement. The former Rwandan official stands accused of taking part in the murder of 13 people. Belgian authorities suspect that he tipped off the Hutu militias that killed him. He's also accused of war crimes and genocide.
There was a plan for the extermination of all the Tutsis in the country. And it was this plan that was put in place. And it was in the context of this plan that this family was murdered together with other families who were there in the same place.
But the defence lawyer representing Fabien Naretse denies both the existence of this plan and all the facts.
There have been genocidal acts on both sides, but my client cannot be persecuted on the basis of genocide. And on top of that, he's innocent. He's challenging all the facts.
One of the Belgian nationals who died was Claire Beckers, murdered alongside her Tutsi husband and their daughter Katia. For the past 25 years, her sister Martine has been working to make this trial possible, and she's now waiting for justice.
This is a very unpleasant situation to live in, but I have been on this for a long time and I want to finish in an honorable way.
Fabien Naretse could be sentenced to life imprisonment, but the court decision will not be known until the end of December or early January. Till then, the jury will hear over 100 testimonies. An estimated 800,000 people died during the Rwanda genocide in '94, the majority of them from the Tutsi ethnic group. Maeve McMahon, Euronews.
And we wrap up this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast back home with the the international legal mind, former Cameroon Bar Council president and politician Bernard Muna, who will be laid to rest tomorrow. His mortal remains were removed from the mortuary today in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, followed by tributes to the former Bar Bar Council president. And in the report coming up next for me, Armstrong Sander takes us into the life, the journey, the professional and political journey of the former Bar Council president, Bernard Muna.
An astute lawyer, a magistrate and politician, the erudite legal mind barrister Bernard Muna Achu, popularly known as Ben Muna, excelled in what he did. Bernard Muna, the lawyer and magistrate, was admitted into the English bar in 1966, becoming state counsel in the office of the Attorney General, with responsibility to prosecute all criminal cases in the Federated States of West Cameroon. He was named magistrate in 1969 and chief prosecutor for the then Northwest Province in 1971. Bernard Muna will also be remembered as one of the few Cameroonians who resigned from the public bar to establish his practice in Boya. Bernard Muna became bâtonnier in 1986 when he was elected as president of the Cameroon Bar Association, a position he retained until 1992. Better known as Ben Muna on the political scene, he founded the Alliance of Progressive Forces, a party under which he ran as president of the Republic of Cameroon in 2011. Ben Muna later steps down as APF national president, handing over to Ali Sajo. The star Ben Muna was equally bright on the international scene. He was named United Nations Country Rapporteur for Penal Reforms and Crimes Prevention in 1987, and then elected as president of the newly created Central African Lawyers Union. Bernard Muna was equally appointed deputy prosecutor of the International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda in 1997, and in 2013, Bernard Muna was named member of the United Nations Commission of Inquiry on the Situation in the Central African Republic. Bâtonnier Bernard Acho Muna is the son of late Solomon Tanden Muna, Cameroon's one-time prime minister.
Ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us, that's it for today. Have a nice weekend.